Okay, guys, thanks a lot for hanging in there. This is the second part of this section, second part of the video. And right now we're going to look at some composite figures. Composite figures, if you recall back to, I think it was 9.2 or 9.3, those where you have two different shapes, combined together to make a bigger shape. So right now we have a playhouse. And if you look at, we have a triangular prism going on up on top. That's your roof line. Triangular prism, and then we have a rectangular prism for the main part of the playhouse. So to make things easier, finding surface area, obviously we would do a playhouse with some windows, I would hope, so the kids don't, get too hot, or they can at least see outside. But we're going to pretend like, obviously it has a floor, but we're going to pretend that there's no windows. That just makes the calculating slightly easier. So if you can draw this cute little playhouse, go for it. If not, maybe just, like I said, pause the video, refer back to what it looks like while we're doing the equations. Okay, so everything that I just said is summed up in these bullet points. So we got a rectangular prism. We have a triangular prism as well. Okay, so these bullet points tell you the base of the playhouse is 3x4, so that's going to be your base. Your height is 2. Again, that's going to be your height. The base of the roof is 3x2, and the height of the prism is 4. So those are all important things. So if you want, you can draw nets. Sometimes, I don't know, I feel like maybe every once in a while this might confuse people a little bit, but this is what these nets would look like. Okay, if you need to see those numbers in action. And then what we're going to do is start off by just looking at the rectangular prism. So that bottom part of that playhouse. So again, our formula is base plus perimeter times height. So we always find out our information. We had the 3x4 base. We knew the perimeter was 14 and that the height was 2. So we plug that info in. And when we do the multiplication, so again, 3 times 4 is 12. Do that first. 14 times 2 is 28. Do that next. Then add them together to get your 40. We're only using one base. Okay, this is where it gets a little tricky. See, normally it's 2b right here. But we're using one base because if you take the roof off of the playhouse, there's nothing on top there. There's no ceiling anymore. The ceiling and the roof are part of the same structure. So that's a little tricky. You got to kind of keep that in mind when you're doing real world examples. What would happen if I pulled the roof off my house? I wouldn't have a ceiling anymore. So one of my bases is missing. Okay? Now let's figure out the triangular prism part. That's the roof. Again, we're missing that one bottom portion. Okay? We're missing that bottom portion that we're quote pulling off. So we have to subtract that out. That's an extra step. This would not normally be in your formula, right? So we have to subtract out one side of that. Now, triangle area is different than length times width. It's 1/2 base times height. So it's another thing you got to think about. Okay, so we're taking 2 times the base of the triangle, which is 1/2, 3 times 2. We're going to take the perimeter of 8, multiply it by a height of 4, and then we're going to take one of those sides away. So the 3 times 4, one of those sides, that same thing as up here, right? We're going to take that away. So when you're going to multiply all these together, multiply those, then add your 2 first numbers, subtract your last one. So 2 times 1/2 times 3 times 2 is 6. 8 times 4 is 32. And 3 times 4 is 12. So you're going to add 6 plus 32, subtract 20, and you end up with 26. Okay, so now we have to take the surface area of the bottom of the house and add it to the roof. So 40 plus 26, and you get a total surface area of 66 feet squared. So that one's a doozy, not going to lie. That is a tough problem. You really, again, have to take it step by step. That's not a problem to rush through. That's a problem to look at and say, hey, what do I have? I have a rectangular prism. I have a triangular prism. I have a roof. I have a ceiling. let me make sure I take every part into account as well as what I don't need. Okay, so refer to this problem if you need to, if you have a problem like this coming up. Okay, then we're just looking back. Okay, so your homework, not too bad tonight. It's page 390, 1 to 11 all. And again, I set up a Google form for you. What I want you to do is actually do your homework on a piece of paper. Don't just plug things into calculators. Write out the formula. Write out what numbers go where and plug them then into a calculator and give me your answer on the Google form. Okay? That way, if you need to contact me and you need to say, hey, Mrs. Antos, I cannot do number 10. Can you help me? We can refer back to that. Okay? So make sure you're doing that. If you have questions, please reach out. And that is it. I will see you guys later. Have a good one.